Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be explaining how to crochet a spherical shape or a flat circle because I know that this is one of the hardest things to start crocheting as a beginner. So I'll be explaining how to do that today. Hope you enjoy. So first thing, you need to gather your materials. I would recommend having a yarn needle, a stitch marker, and of course your yarn and your hook. I'll be using Bernat Baby Sport yarn, and it's a weight 3 yarn, light yarn, and it recommends a 4mm hook. But for amigurumi, I would recommend using a smaller hook to make the stitches tighter so the stuffing won't show. So today I'm using a 3.5mm hook. Alright, so to start, grab the end of your yarn and then leave a tail of about 2 to 3 inches to start this magic ring. And then cross the yarn over your 2 fingers and then bring it forwards to create an X shape, and then secure the end of the yarn between your 4th and 3rd fingers. And then grab your hook and stick the hook through the top right corner of the X. Grab the top left corner of the X and bring it under the top right corner of the X. And then next turn the hook towards you, and then go over all the way to the back of the X, like the left side. Grab the yarn and then pull it through the loop that's on your hook to create a chain. It's kind of stuck. All right. So now we have this nice loop, this magic ring. This is your tail, and then this is your working yarn. So we're gonna start by creating 6 single crochets into the magic ring, because many patterns for balls have 6 single crochets. So to start the single crochet, you insert your hook into the loop, grab the working yarn, and then pull it through the loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook. You yarn over, which is from right to left under your hook, and then you pull it through the 2 loops on your hook. That's your first stitch. You can tell that's a stitch because of the V they can see on the top. All right, let's do that again. So first, insert your hook into the loop, pull a loop onto your hook, yarn over, and then pull the working yarn through both loops on your hook. And there should be 1 loop on your hook. So now we've created 2 stitches. So insert, pull, yarn over, and then pull through the 2 loops on your hook. So now we've made 3 stitches. I'll continue that until there are 6 loops, 6 stitches into the magic ring. Alright, so now I've got 6 stitches into my magic ring. And then, for me, this is the funnest part. You grab the tail, and then you pull so the magic ring closes, and you have this, you can see all your stitches. And then you insert your next single crochet into the first stitch that you made into the magic ring, which is right here for me. It's kind of hard to get in. And then you single crochet. It's the same as into the loop, except you insert into the stitch instead of the loop. You pull through with the working yarn, and then you yarn over, and then pull through the 2 loops. So that's your first stitch of your second round. So right now I'd recommend grabbing your stitch marker and then inserting it into the two legs of the V, the stitch, and to signify the first stitch of the round. So now all we've got to do is we have to increase. So what we do is we insert another single crochet into the stitch we just made. So it's 2 single crochets instead of 1 into the stitch, so we can increase. Alright, so now I've got 2 stitches. And then the next thing we do is we insert our hook into the next stitch. If you can't find our stitches, it's okay. Just try to look for these, the V, the 2 legs of the stitch. You insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through again. So now we've got 3 stitches in the round so far. Our next step is to make another increase. So we insert into the same stitch, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through again. So for this round, we're making an increase in each stitch, so we end up with 12 stitches overall. Alright, so I went ahead and finished that round. Once you finish doing the increases, you should end up with 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So next you remove the stitch marker. Just a reminder, the stitch marker is marking the first stitch of the round, not the last one. So you would insert your hook into the first stitch of the third round, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then you would grab your stitch marker and then mark the first stitch of your new round. So next, we won't be doing an increase in each stitch. We'll be doing 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 increase. So next, after you do that first single crochet, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So this is an increase stitch. So you would do another single crochet into the same stitch that you just made this single crochet in. And so the next stitch is not an increase. It's just a regular single crochet. And then the next stitch would be an increase. So you would do a single crochet. And then insert another single crochet into that same stitch. And you would just repeat this pattern to the end of the round. At the end of the round, you should end with 18 stitches. All these end stitch counts are all a factor of 6, since we started with 6 stitches. And I'll just repeat this to the end of the round. So at the end of the round, you should end with 18 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So to start round 4, remove the stitch marker and insert a single crochet into the first stitch. And then put the stitch marker back into the first stitch, marking the beginning of the 4th round. So for this round, we will be doing 2 single crochets and then an increase, 2 single crochets and then an increase. And the purpose of this, all these increases and then some single crochets, is so all the increases are distributed evenly, so the resulting circle or the sphere won't end up being a wonky shape. So insert another single crochet into the next stitch. So we would have done 2 single crochets in this round so far. And then for next stitch, we will be doing an increase. So we'll be doing, sorry, I messed up on that one. We will be inserting 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So 1 and then 2. And then 2 single crochets, not in the same stitch, but 1 in each stitch. So 1, and this is the next stitch. 2. And then the next stitch is an increase stitch again. So insert 2 single crochets into the stitch. And then we will be doing 2 single crochets. So 1, and then in the next stitch, 2, and then an increase again. 1, and then the same stitch, 2. So I'll be continuing that for the rest of the round, and then we should end up with 24 stitches, which is also a factor of 6. Alright, so I've completed this round and ended up with 24 stitches. I've removed the stitch marker, and to start the 5th round, I will insert a single crochet into the first stitch, replace the stitch marker, and then this time, instead of 2, we'll be doing 3 single crochets before the increase. So that was my first stitch. This is my second stitch. And then my third stitch. In the next stitch, which is right there, we'll be inserting another increase. So 1, and then 2 into the same stitch. So 3 single crochets, 1 in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then another increase. So insert, pull through, pull through, and then insert another single crochet into the same stitch. So I'll repeat that until the end of the round, and at the end of the round, you should end up with 30 stitches, which is an increase of 6 stitches from the last round. So I finished the 5th round and ended up with 30 stitches. So I'm gonna stop the increases for now, but you can always continue to increase. So you would do 4 single crochets and then increase, and then the next round you do 5 single crochets and then increase. But if you want to make a flat circle, you can fasten off now, but I'll continue to make a sphere. And this is the point where we'll be stopping the increases. So remove the stitch markers, and then all you do is just single crochet into each stitch, so 30 stitches for each round. Just a round for 4 rows, and you can count the rows if you lose track. See, this is the first one, the second one, the third one, the 4th one, and then the 5th one. The biggest mistake I made as a beginner was that I kept the wrong side, which is this side with the tail, the wrong side facing out. And that's easy to do since it naturally curls like this, so it's easy to have the wrong side facing out, but you want to make sure that this right side is facing out, which is the nicer looking side. So you probably would just have to be pushing this side out. So I'll just do 4 rounds of 30 stitches, and I'll meet you back when I finish. So I finished the 4 rounds. If you want to make your sphere longer, you can always do more rounds of single crochet, but I'll stop for here for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds of single crochet. So to start our decreased rounds, to close up the circle, the sphere, we'll start with 3 single crochet, since that's what we left off with for the increased rounds. So 1, and then the stitch marker. And then 2, and then 3. So for our first decrease stitch, I prefer to use an invisible decrease, but you can use any kind of decrease method that you like. So we'll be inserting our hook into the front loops only. So to figure out the front loops, just hold your work in front of you like this, and the ones closer to you are the front loops, and then the ones closer, farther from you are the back loops. So you would insert your hook into the front loop, and then insert your hook into the next front loop of the next stitch, and then treat that as one stitch. Yarn over, pull through both front loops, yarn over, and then pull through both loops as you would a regular single crochet. So that was our first decrease. As you can see, I crocheted 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So now we'll do 3 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do the invisible decrease again. So insert your hook into the front loop, and then insert your hook into the front loop of the next stitch. Treat it as one stitch or 1 loop. Pull your working yarn through both loops, and then treat the rest of the stitch like a normal single crochet. And then do the 3 single crochets again. 1, 2, 3, and then do the invisible decrease again. So insert, yarn over, treat it as 1 loop, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through both loops. So you'll repeat that until you reach the stitch marker or the end of the round, and you should end up with 24 stitches. So I've just finished this first decrease round, and I have 24 stitches. As you can see, my last stitch that I just did was a decrease. So for our next decrease round, we will do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So as you can see, for the increased rounds, we counted up for the single crochets in between each increase, but for the decreases, we're counting down for the single crochets between the decreases. So 1, insert the stitch marker into the first stitch, and then 2, and then we will do our decrease, the invisible decrease. So insert your hook into the front loop, and then insert your hook into the front loop again for the next stitch, yarn over, and then pull it through both loops as if it was 1 loop, yarn over, and finish it like a regular single crochet. So just repeat that for the rest of the round. So 1, 2, and then invisible decrease. So insert into the front loop, insert into the front loop, yarn over, pull it through both those loops as if it was 1 loop, yarn over, and pull it through both loops. Sorry if my hook is squeaking against the yarn. The stitches are just kind of tight. Alright, so just continue that for the rest of the round. And I'll meet you back here when I finish. So at the end of this round, you should end up with 18 stitches. For this next round of increase, decreases, sorry. We'll start with 1 single crochet. So since the last round we did 2 single crochet and then a decrease, this round we'll do 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So insert and then yarn over and then pull through, yarn over and then pull through both loops. So we'll do that again. Insert into the next stitch, single crochet, and then invisible decrease. So just repeat that for the rest of the round, and then I'll finish that and then I'll meet you back here. So at the end of this round, we should end up with 12 stitches around. At this point, we should stuff the ball. And I forgot to mention that we need stuffing, but I'm just using polyfill. So when stuffing, I would recommend not to overstuff, because then the stitches can be, it can be seen through the stitches. But definitely don't understuff, because over time the stuffing can go to the bottom of the amigurumi, and the top will be like all flat and the bottom will be kind of have too much stuffing. So I definitely recommend overstuffing than understuffing if you can't decide which one to do. But all right, so I think I've put enough stuffing in, and then you remove the stitch marker, and then at this point we're just gonna do a decrease in all the stitches around and end up with 6 stitches around. So our first decrease, yeah, working with the decreases can definitely be kind of tricky. All right, and then since this is still the first stitch of our round, we'll insert the stitch marker like normal. And then we will do another decrease. It can be kind of hard with the stuffing, but just try to work around the stuffing, and yeah. And then run over and then pull through. And then just repeat this pattern around until you reach a stitch marker and then end up with 6 stitches. So I finished the decreases, and so now we can just take our scissors and we can cut the yarn. Make sure to leave a tail so we can leave in the ends. And then how you just fasten off is just cut it, and then you pull the working yarn through. So now we've basically finished, but we have this hole at the bottom still, so we have to close that up. And how you do that is just take the tail and then insert it through the eye of your yarn needle, and then you insert your needle into the loop closest to you, the front loop of each stitch around. And then once you've done that, this is a very satisfying part. You just pull and then the hole closes. And then now you just have to weave in your ends. So you just stick your needle anywhere, and then you just basically try to hide the yarn tail. And then once you've done that, you can cut the remaining yarn, and then you end up with this lovely sphere that you've crocheted. Alright, so that's how you crochet a sphere or a flat circle, and I really hope this video tutorial helped you. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye!